So it says recording, so it must be. So good evening, everybody. Welcome to Grimbarians Live. I think this is the best way to describe it. Live over the internet, via Zoom, in these strange and crazy days that we're all living in. My name is Richard Askam. I'm here tonight to interview my lovely guest, Toni Buckle, who's joined me this evening. Good evening, Toni. How are you?
Good evening. I'm really good, thanks. How are you?
Good, yeah, not bad at all, actually. Strange, crazy times we're living in, but it's a little bit weird to be doing an interview via Zoom, but you know, kind of fun at the same time. Have you done this sort of thing before?
This is my first time.
First time Zoomer. I like that. That's always good. So the idea, for those of you that have been and seen us at Grimbarians Talks before, is to just sort of dig a little bit deeper into Toni's business background and also really her view of the world and everything that is in the Grimbarians sort of orbit at the moment, and really try and get a sense of what the future might look like, not only for Toni's business, but also the town as well. So let's start a little bit, I think, Toni, by, if you wouldn't mind introducing yourselves to our audience and tell us a little bit about what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously my name's Toni. I am the owner of Ebb Flo. So Ebb Flo is a local business to Cleethorpes. We kind of advertise ourselves now as a lifestyle brand. So we do stand-up paddleboarding and kayaking. So water sports is like our core business, essentially. But our foundations are very much sustainability and well-being. And obviously that branches off in all different directions. We also have a eco jewelry line, and we also produce our own sustainable merch. And everything we kind of do is just centered about being outdoors, living your best life, making memories, and just, yeah, being more conscious.
Okay, well, that's fascinating for starters. But what led you into that? What sort of brought you into that world?
Do you know, it's a bit crazy, and I still can't believe it myself. But basically, prior to Ebb Flo, I worked in mental health. So I've kind of already been well-being sort of inspired, but not in a, not in a generic way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an outside the box kind of thinker, and the sort of things that I would like to do, or the things that I would encourage people to do for mental health purposes, are not prescribed, sorry.
Yep.
So when I was doing the work that I was doing previously, I kind of felt like I was being contained. I didn't feel like I was doing or being my full potential in how I could help people. So I sort of started to step away from that, and entering into the business kind of came by accident. It was one of those things where both my husband and I at the time, he was sort of reevaluating his career and I was reevaluating mine. And stand-up paddleboarding just we started doing it ourselves as a hobby. And it just happened to draw a lot of attention. And I think because it drew so much attention, we were sort of like, oh,
there might be something
maybe
in this.
This could be a thing. Yeah, exactly. I think the question we got asked a lot when we went out in the Humber with our own board was, have you hired it from somewhere? And we got asked that so many times, and it usually takes me quite a while to twig onto stuff, and it did. It was quite a few times, and eventually this one day, this lady, she was walking a dog, and she came up and she, oh, have you hired that from somewhere? And I was like, no, you could.
Yeah, well.
So yeah, that was kind of it. We set about. I like had the serious conversation with my hubby, because I'd been at university for 5 years, studying psychology. I'd worked in mental health for nearly 3 years, and I was progressing as a therapist. And it was kind of like, actually, I'm not happy. I don't feel like this is the right thing. It was like a gut instinct. It just didn't feel quite right. So I had the serious conversation with my hubby and just said, well, you know, what do you think? I think I could make it work. And he was just like, yeah, we've got nothing to lose. So.
And there's some similarities, I guess, if I'm hearing you right, between what you were doing and what you are doing, in the sense that they both offer a therapeutic solution to a life's problem, but just seen from a different perspective. So largely you could argue that you've stayed doing what you were doing, but just doing it slightly differently.
Yeah, and that's something that I've only recently come to realise, because I felt like I'd kind of thrown away my years of studying, as it were, to begin with, and that was a question I got frequently asked. What a waste of time, but I don't feel like it ever was. I feel like that was experience gained in the right way from a sort of an educational basis, so that when now I come into this, like you've just said there, the amount of times people have come to me and people will offload on the water. They'll tell you about what's going on in their life, and they'll end the session with a huge smile on their face and a massive thanks and a genuine hug, messages of appreciation afterwards and things like that. And I'm just there offering what I offer, doing things in my own way, which just happen to be well received, which is really good. So then when people's feedback does come, I feel like I never intend or set out to do anything in any session. It happens.
Yeah, well, it just flows.
Yeah, exactly. So authentic, which
that's good.
Which is really nice.
And how satisfying as well for you personally that the thing that you now do is also the thing that you love.
We were watching the other day a video from Russell Brand about what's going on at the moment and how things will change, etc. And one of the questions he asked in that video was, how much do you want your old life back? Which I thought was quite profound. But I was like, I really want my old life back. And I think it's quite a nice, it feels really nice to be able to say, actually, yeah, I do want my old life back. I don't know what that will be, but
well, sometimes you have to stop something to realize that you never wanted to stop. Yeah,
absolutely. And I love my job so much, and I love the feedback from people. And it's so nice. It's so nice when it has the effect that it has on me, the mindfulness, the escapism, the connection with nature, all those things. When somebody comes to you and feels the same thing without you pushing it on them, and you just kind of going, this is what I do, come along, experience it, and see what you think.
How nice is that? And when did you start the business?
It was 2017. Crikey.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, 2017. Yay.
Okay, and what would you say in that time have been the biggest challenges that you've faced, apart from now?
My biggest challenge has been myself, which, again, business, I'm so naive when I do things. I never really think things through. One of the sort of things that me and my dad joke about is ready, fire, aim. And that is me down to a T. I see something, and if it feels right, it doesn't matter. I just doing it, and don't think about how. It's just, let's just get it done, and then you learn about the how as you go along. And I honestly thought working for myself would be easy. And it's not.
Well, yeah. Although it shouldn't be horrendously difficult either.
It's not. No.
Yeah.
All the organisation, the self-motivation, the being by yourself, just loads of different things that I guess you kind of sort of take for granted when you think about businesses, because a lot of larger businesses have people to do those sorts of things for them. But yeah, it was, I guess, confidence in myself has been my biggest thing. But like this year has been totally different. I feel completely different to the last couple of years. That was all down to experience. What we set out to do was completely brand new. It was like going against the status quo. There was no business model for what we wanted to do. There was nowhere to take inspiration from. Every day was a learning day. It was scary, but now we've kind of got into the groove of things, and now I can confidently express what it is that I do and what I want to achieve. It's like,
it's interesting because I got asked last week by somebody about the current situation that we all find ourselves in,
Yeah.
The question was, how do you carry on thinking straight in this situation? And my response was that I'd spent most of my life, my business life, with my pants on fire, running around trying to solve problems that I didn't know I had. And you become very used to thinking clearly while your pants are on fire. So you've obviously got that skill that allows you to see beyond the problem that you're in to the solution that you might have.
I like to think so. I always think ahead. So how would you word it? I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. I don't know where it is, even if it's just a speck. I know that this is a temporary situation.
Yeah.
One of my favorite quotes from one of my favorite films is, "It can't rain all the time," and it can't. It's impossible.
Oh, what was that film?
The Crow.
Okay, yeah, got it. Yeah, I like that.
Epic. And it's true. This will not last. And I know it's scary, and I know it's, like people keep saying, unprecedented and all the bad things, but there are so many things that are happening that we've said were impossible, unachievable. We can't do that because of the economy. We can't do this because of that. We can't stop things for the wrong reasons, and now they've all stopped. And it's like, aha, actually we can. So yeah, I do always sort of look ahead to know that I know for a fact that this is a temporary situation. It will not last forever. That there will be some sort of, I don't know, easing of the situation. I guess one day. I don't know when that will be. I've kind of just come right. Like I put a post out the other day just about saying my default when I feel like the rug's been pulled from under my feet, I sort of shy away. I like to just disappear, like, see you later. I need to just go and figure things out in my own head and bring myself back round and let myself know that I'm feeling negative, and that's okay. I'm not insane. I'm very much sane. I'm dealing with a situation and I'm reacting very normally to it. But even though that normal reaction doesn't feel like a good reaction, if that makes sense. I've kind of come through that now, and I'm sort of thinking, okay, yeah, well, you've got to just allow those emotions to circulate. And if you're feeling crappy, talk to somebody. I've got so many people to talk to that are actually feeling exactly the same. And now it's kind of like, okay, so what are we going to do for the best? What are we going to do to make the most out of this situation? How are we going to make it as positive as possible? And that's where we are now.
You'll know this from your background in mental health, that one of the stages of grief is acceptance, and I think largely, judging by the fact that there's loo rolls back on the shelves, largely everybody is accepting the situation that we are now find ourselves in. You don't have to like it, but you do have to accept that it's real, and it's probably, as you say, going to continue for some time to come. What would you say if you were, because you strike me as an optimist. Anybody that runs their own business has to be an optimist. What would you say will be the key things that you can bring from this situation forward with you when the world starts turning again, in whichever direction we choose it to be? What do you think will be the key things that this time will have allowed you to contemplate, consider, develop?
So much. It's where do I start? First, I started to make a list of things that I've been doing, and I kind of did that consciously because I know that I like to sort of have a list of to-dos when I'm not feeling so great. So I know that when I'm at my absolute busiest, I am craving for time. And time's always there. You can't say I haven't got any time, because time is there. It always exists. You are your master of your own time. But I wish I had more time to read. I wish I had more time to spend with my kids. I wish I had more time to do this, do that. And all of those things I've been sort of reflecting on recently, thinking, right, if I was absolutely busy and I needed time to do this and time to do that, what would I be doing? So I wrote a list. And one of those was reading. So I've been reading an amazing book, which is all centered around presence and the now, acceptance, spirituality. It's a book called The New Earth by Eckhart Tolle. it's a fantastic book, and I'm actually listening to it because I don't read, I listen. But I'm going to listen to that again. I've got about 20 minutes left of my audiobook, and every single chapter I listen to, I'm like, oh my God, babe, this chapter, it's so awesome. It's so empowering, uplifting, but reading is for sure one of them. The amount of time I've had to spend with my kids, and I left the mental health sector for one of the reasons, because it was shift work, and it was long shift work, and you get to miss out on a lot of things with your kids when you're working in shifts. So that was one of the reasons I left. So I've had quite a lot of time with my children anyway, but now I've got even more. And the amount of stuff we're actually learning about them, that like the way they talk to you, and they're coming to you and they're telling you stuff, and they're so intuitive, and they're picking up on everything that's going on. But we're actually sitting down every day, and we've made a point of eating around the table every meal, breakfast, dinner and tea, every meal, and we check in all the time. And it's been especially good for our youngest, who's only 7, and he's quite emotionally intelligent for a 7-year-old, let's say. It's like me. But that is definitely something I want to carry on doing more, is making sure that I check in with people more. And well, weirdly, I know we were saying earlier on about the whole FaceTiming thing, and the amount of friends that we've actually spoken to that we've not seen for such a long time, but we've checked in more over FaceTime. That's been amazing. And we've been really up to date with people, and most people have been really upbeat, and looking after my nan more, making sure she's got everything she needs, just.
I think a lot of it, and you've just described it really beautifully. A lot of it is just reconnecting. I think
simple,
friends, family, or the things that really matter. And I think certainly what I think is we'll come out of this period with hopefully a newfound or a reborn respect, I think, for the people around us, not only our friends and family, but also our neighbours as well. Largely, I know there's always exceptions to every rule, but largely everybody seems to be looking out for everybody. We've almost regressed back to a sort of tribal existence where that everybody's the strongest looking after the weakest, and making sure they're okay because they're only strong because of them and what have you. So and if we apply this to a business sense as well, Toni, I think that the strongest always survive. Recessions, however deep, and this will be quite deep, but there is always a route back. When the world starts turning again, what do you think your business is going to need initially to sort of bring itself back to life again? Is it just a question of turning the lights on, or do you think it will need more than that?
It's tricky because I try and be devil's advocate in everything that I do with the business. I always try and be devil's advocate, and I know that people will be wanting to cut the cloth, rein things in, etc. But on the flip side of that, I also feel like my business offers those opportunities that people want, like the connection, the memories, the quality time, something new experiences. That's something we've already been doing, and I hope that it's something that people would want to continue to do. But I've always been a very much no pressure. I would never want to pressure somebody to buy a paddleboarding experience, or to back, like I never would. If somebody wants to spend their money with me, thank you very, very much. Like, I'm always so grateful for that, but I'd never push anyone to do that. In terms of what we do, I have no idea. I have no idea what it's going to be like. I've got people messaging me daily, like, we can't wait to get back out on the water. And I'm like, oh, I can't. It's very close. Like, I've made so many good friends doing what I do. And we all share a common interest. And it's not, I love what I do and I live what I do. So it's, if I'm out on the water and my clients are there, it doesn't feel like I'm out with clients. It's, and it's like, oh, because it is a community. So I'm hoping that it will strengthen it in a sense. But then by the same token, I don't want to wish for anything. Like, I just think what will be. And we'll see when the time comes. But yeah, I'm hoping to just kind of go, we're open.
Yeah, well, that would be nice.
Come on down.
Yeah.
So
if somebody came and visited the area, our little piece of the world, for the first time, what would be the one thing that you'd like to tell them that makes this place so special?
Oh gosh, I always say how amazing the beach is, and I do. I absolutely love our beach, and we're so lucky. One of the biggest things that I love about our beach is the way we're kind of positioned in the Humber. We can see the sunrise and we can see the sunset. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. And every day we get up, we go down to the beach, we can see the sunrise. Come the evening, the sun sets like just past the dock tower, and if you're in the water, like, so many people have been like, oh, you could be anywhere. We've got a magnificent beach and so many nice places to eat and little coffee shops to, sit and chill in, and most people are friendly. I'm always that kind of person that's like, morning, hello. And generally most people are. So I think we've got a very friendly community for our small town, and a fantastic beach that definitely needs to be explored.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I've said this a number of times. That the people that from around here are still around here. They're a long way in the soil, and I think that's one of its biggest attributes as an area. And it's a great place to live. Toni, you've been an amazing guest. If you could just get over your crippling shyness and talk a bit more, that would be great. But maybe it was the pre-match glass of wine, but that was brilliant. Thank you very much for talking to me. I'm going to end this.
No worries.
Don't go away, because I want to talk to you after we've stopped recording about the idea. But thank you very much for being our first Grimbarian Zoomer. Stay safe, stay well, and stay happy. And we'll see you on the other side.
Indeed.
All right. Night.
See you later. Bye.